Okay. Cool. We're here. Just kind of doing whatever. Hey guys. Streaming again. Been a hot minute. It seems like I said that every single time I'm on here these days. But yeah, we're just chilling. So I figured I honestly like there's a couple of games that I've been wanting to check out and others that I just can't really like. So we started the Mario Odyssey stream series before Tears of the Kingdom came out, and we started the Tears of the Kingdom stream when it came out, and then I haven't really done anything since then. Tears of the Kingdom came out, and I was just so absorbed by it, and I kept thinking to myself, like, I could just stream this whole game and I'd do that as a series, but I think, like, the game was, like, in my mind, I wanted to play it, but it's too big right now, so it would just get lost in all the noise. I know that the last stream that I did really got lost in all the noise with that, so I just kind of let it be what it is. Yeah, so you just kind of carry on, do your thing, and, you know, do whatever. So, honestly, I'm just, like, looking at this old stream background, and I now have a drawing tablet. I think I mentioned this before during the Mario Odyssey stream, and I think it's getting close to where I'm going to start drawing up some new assets, but, you know, you have to kind of get yourself up to it. You know, it's, it comes down to, like, do you have an idea, or are you just winging it? You know, like, the dark purple and sort of, like, the Majora's Mask theme for, like, the frame, like, the one that I use for, when I'm streaming games and stuff, like this one, like, it's fine, but I'm trying to sort of, like, take everything a little bit more seriously, and not, like, you know, not from the standpoint of, like, I'm gonna start streaming every day or anything. Honestly, I could. I don't see why not, but, oh, I just realized I did not secure the wire. It's just kind of dangling and hanging there. Sorry about that if that dings anybody's ears. But yeah, no, it just, I don't find that... So I'm gonna prop myself up. This chair has got, like, a decent back if you're just leaning into it, but if you're trying to sit upright, it's kind of sucky for that. But yeah, no, we just... There's a whole lot of, like, stuff that I'm trying to figure out right now. You know, I'm trying to get into doing some solo content. I started doing more music production stuff. I've got a cover that features me singing, finally. That's in the works. I've already recorded it. I've sent it off to my producer friend who's gonna work on that and get it done up. Yeah. There's a whole lot that is going on behind the scenes, so, you know, I've also got the Best of Jake Volume 3 that I'm supposed to have done for what day? I think it's Tuesday next week, yeah, so I've actually got, like, not a whole lot of time to get that done, but honestly, like, I started it a few weeks ago, and I just, like, I think my mood was just shot, because I distinctly remember starting it, and then just getting kind of, like, dreary, and kind of bummed out, and those ones are always difficult, because you gotta, you know, you're revisiting. It's I said this in the update video on Laugh A Lot Gamers. It's bittersweet. But you just kind of you know, Yeah, it's interesting. It's bittersweet because you're revisiting old memories, some good, some bad. The bitterness is, you know, this is a friend who passed away a few years ago, right? So, because the first volume came out on his birthday, the year that he passed, the year following, and this is now, this will be the third birthday. Yes, because that's volume 3. Yes, I did think of that. But yeah. Big water bottle. It's called Bubba. I thought it was kind of amusing. I got it from Walmart for like $25. Probably 20 US. But yeah, there was that going on. I've been also like trying to be more active in comment sections. Kind of connect with streamers and kind of like connect with people in general. Because it gets like boring when you have nothing to do in the evenings except work all the time. You know, like Laugh A Lot Gamers, we record typically like once every quarter, which that's something that we haven't openly announced yet, but it's we're talking about what the future of the channel looks like. Weekly videos are probably going to be stopping on there. I want to be able to have like sort of a more open schedule, just kind of drop content in whenever we have it, as opposed to, okay, like we need to get everyone together, you know, like 4 times a year to just like mass record stuff. Because again, we're talking like when we record, we usually like backlog hours and hours of stuff. And you know, like some of the guys are easier to reach than others. Like I know Liam had become super prevalent on the channel because it was becoming more and more challenging to get the other guys to record. I think the plan right now is to finish the Road 96 series that we have on there right now. And then after that, I really want to try and push to finish Ocarina of Time. That's something that we sort of discussed as like, that's the first series that Jake was a part of. That's the series that we want to finish to sort of like honor him. We had talked about initially doing all of the games that he didn't get to finish, but at the same time, we don't want to just go through and repeat everything that he did. At the same time, we also want to we want to venture forth and play different stuff, right? We don't want to have this backlog of games that we just keep going through like a list until we clear through all the games that he played while he was active on the channel or while he was alive, right? So it's interesting because we, you know, I think we talked a lot during the 10th anniversary about like doing all these different things, and the best way I can think of as the owner to sort of like make the videos as good as they possibly can be is to sort of go forth, do whatever needs to be done, get together whenever we want to record something. We can just hook the mics up and sort of organically record and post. Because that way it's not like a weekly hindrance on me. It's not like, you know, okay, I gotta dedicate these 2 evenings of the week to do editing and all that shit. So it gets to be a bit of a pain, because you really have to dedicate time to it. And, you know, with the way that things have been going, it's difficult to sort of justify that level of effort on something that requires everybody to at least be sort of like active, you know? So it's, you know, it's sort of, I'm at a point where I said to the guys, I'm like, I don't know what else to do other than bring it down. And I did get pushback on it. You know, everyone kind of stopped and went, oh my god, like, what? You know, are we done? Are we shutting it down? Excuse me. Hey. But, no, yeah, the goal isn't to, like, stop uploading to Laugh A Lot Gamers. It's just to not have it be this big thing, right? Just kind of do stuff when it's time to do stuff, and then just go from there, honestly. Other than that, I mean, it's not any less fun, you know? I think, honestly, the thing that made it annoying was that the editing became... Here, let me just move this up. But the editing became more... It took higher effort to get a weekly video out, because we wouldn't just drop, we wouldn't just drag and drop a video and then throw the intro stuff in, do a cold open, and then send it. We started to actually think of, like, okay, where are our weaknesses lie? Okay, so sudden silence. You'd go from having literally nothing being said for anywhere between 3 to 10 seconds. So the idea was like, cool, so how do we fix that? The easiest solution was to just go through, edit all those out. Take out any, sitting there trying to figure something out for an extended period of time. And it did actually ended up saving, 10 to 20... I want to say about 10 to 20 minutes off of each recording worth of silence, which, that's a lot. You gotta think, if you're stopping so many times a video, and that amounts, roughly half an hour videos, and you're losing about 10 minutes worth of time, that's a lot. And it showed, because our watch time skyrocketed. We went from people watching anywhere between 2 to 3 minutes for our videos, and then going on to being upwards of around 10 to 20 minutes on average, which, I can see it. People either skip through and find a bit, rewind to see what happened for context. I do the same thing when I'm watching long form content. Sometimes you're just waiting for shit to happen. You're like, oh my god. Or, oh my god. I'm gonna be doing that a lot. But, yeah. No, it's interesting. Like I say, the more... the more effort goes into lag, the less I want to do it. It's kind of funny. And it's not because... It's, like I said, it's not because it's not fun and, I don't enjoy hanging out with the guys. I hang out with the guys all the time. It's just oh, I don't feel like it. Oh, I don't know. It's I don't want to not 100% it, so it's okay, well, fuck, what do you do, right? You just kind of focus on the things that you can do that don't rely on other people. And I think this was one of the things that the conversation I had with Liam about it was that we were running into this scenario where it was so I'm just going to turn this down a little bit for me, not for you guys. But just, I don't know, the part of the conversation that Liam and I had was okay, so he and I really had been carrying the channel for a while, and his worry was oh, he and I had talked a lot about planning a lot of IRL stuff, which again, that's not going anywhere. We never really scheduled those anyway. We kind of just dropped them when we had an idea and did them. And then videos. Instead of chasing down a particular thing to record, we figured if we thought about something that we wanted to do, we had Liam and I had talked recently about doing a Tears of the Kingdom build video, but time's gone by. We're into June in less than an hour. It's difficult. It's what do you do, right? You try to find all these things to do, and especially for a group channel like that, I find videos like that tend to work better for individuals. And I'm starting to see that a lot too, because I don't often post on my solo channel. It's whenever I feel like I have something worth sharing. Hey, what's up, Alexis? But, sorry, I was just saying, whenever I feel like there's something worth putting up on my, solo YouTube channel is when those videos go out. And those videos always do better than literally anything else I do, right? Immediately, like I'll log in the next day from posting, and they'll suddenly skyrocket. And it could be anything. Like, the last thing I posted was the highlights from the X-Defiant beta that they had, and again, popped off. It went pretty crazy. And again, when I say popped off, I'm talking by my standards, right? Because those lag videos do anywhere between like 10, they sort of averaged anywhere between like 5 and 10 before. Now they're averaging closer to 20. Sometimes they go up into like the 50s and higher. It really just depends on what the algorithm wants to push. Whereas when I'm doing solo content, it really, like, I don't have to say, hey, this thing came up, we need to make a video. I can just do it, right? Like, by myself, it doesn't matter. So there really isn't any pressure to do solo content that way. Like, it really, you just kind of, you know, pick a lane and go, right? So it's interesting. Like I said, the music stuff has been going pretty good. I've been keeping like somewhat regular posts on there. I think in the first month I got like around 6K plays it was over the course of the first month, and because I would release stuff and they'd get like hundreds of plays. It was pretty wild, but yeah, no, it was certainly an interesting. It was sort of an interesting experience and sort of an interesting time in figuring out, like, okay, figuring out, it's wild, because it's like, you got to think, like, these are things that are sort of like common knowledge, but it doesn't really sink in until you have that firsthand experience of seeing it happen. You know, whether you're working for a channel or if you're doing everything on your own, group stuff, whatever, you really need to sort of see that. You need to see that sort of materialize in front of you. And yeah, I've certainly learned a whole lot over these last few months. I know that, like say, I'm going to be focusing on a bit of rebranding coming up soon, so this basic-ass purple background should be a bit less basic. I imagine it'll still be dark purple, because that's just my favorite color, and I've been doing the purple stuff for a few years now, so... But yeah, it's, yeah, we'll do like a rebrand, probably like figure something out along those lines. I know that I do want to do a bit more commentary. I did some back in the day, sort of like current events, releases, articles, stuff like that. Hopefully, it can be a little more, I guess, jovial. It's difficult to sort of like, I don't know. I always find that when I try to do content like that, my first instinct is like to pick articles that kind of annoy me, because it's, you know, it's like, it'll be like, oh, EA fucking launches another broke-ass game, and me hop on there and do the safe thing, right? Like, because of course I'm annoyed, I'm trying to play this new game. But it's like, oh, lo and behold, here we are, another broke-ass fucking game. And then, you know, you put out a video, a few hundred people like it, watch it, comment, be like, yeah, I agree, fuck these guys. But at the same time, that sort of like, it feels too easy to do that. I don't know, because it's like, you kind of, you don't want to just fall into a pattern of shitting on stuff, because life's already fucking miserable as it is. You don't want to chase misery, right? You don't want to constantly bog yourself down with shit to be upset about. So that it's a bit of why I think about, like, should I or shouldn't I? Like, that's often a point of contention when it comes to discussing those types of things. But, yeah, I know, like, say, with my drawing tablet, too, like, I wanted to start drawing up some assets and, getting into that. I had practiced a little bit of animation. I don't do it as often as I'd like to, but this is the funny thing about animation, is that it's really gratifying when you're done, but when you're doing it, it is such a slog. Like, you don't, like, until you've sat there and, like, animated something for hours. Because, again, those animations that I've done are, like, really low effort. Like, you go and watch those, you could be like, oh, a child did this. But it's time consuming. Like, you try to look for shortcuts, and you try to look for ways out of, you know, making it such a drag, I guess. But, you know, like, you'll start to generate assets, you'll start to have folders with, like, different mouth flaps so that you don't have to worry so much about mouth movement, and just sort of, like, work in sort of, I don't know, like, work chains, things. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Maybe you do. It's the idea that you have, like, a folder of stuff that you can just go, like, cool, shortcut, you know, like, character models, that's a thing too. I mean, like, the same way that in 3D animation you would have character models, you can also kind of do the same thing for 2D. You can just have, like, your assets and your characters just kind of, like, be there, and then, you know, dress them up on a animation by animation basis. And I had done that a little bit, but again, of course, like, each new animation comes new challenges, new ideas, you know. You don't, I mean, well, you totally could just do similar stuff, right? Like, if you theme it, I guess, like, a good example of that would be, like, the Source Filmmaker Pizza Tower stuff. Those 3D animations that have come out, like, that one is, like, popped off as a meme on TikTok. It's all those ones of, like, everyone walking up and screaming. Stupidest shit ever, but if you have something like that that's themed, you can just work on asset creation and just drag and dropping them into whatever scenario you want to, really. Not to say that it's no effort. It certainly takes a lot of time to do asset creation. But there are ways to make it a little easier on yourself. But again, there's still got to be a drive to make something a little bit different, right? You want to improve, you want to change the formula, you know, like, this time they're at the bank, this time they're at the restaurant, this time they're wherever, it doesn't matter. You know, just kind of, so, you know, whatever you decide to do differently, at the end of the day, animation is still, like, this wonderfully gratifying but also aggravating and mind-boggling thing. And again, mine look like dog shit, and it takes a lot of time and effort to make it look just like regular ass fucking, like, kindergarten dog shit, right? So, you know, don't ever let anyone tell you that animators are low effort content creators. Like, these people put time into their work, regardless of what it is, right? If it's stills, they still have to draw this stuff, right? It's crazy. And honestly, like, I don't even know how some of these people, like, do this stuff as, like, a career. Because I know for me, it drives me nuts. All I notice is that my fan stopped working and I gotta plug it back in. It didn't short or anything. It's just not spinning anymore. And my guess is it probably just fell out. I don't know if anyone can hear me. But honestly, at this point, I'd rather be cool. I'd rather have cold air blowing on me. There we go. Get some airflow going again. And again, I'm sure you can hear it. I also don't care. It's so fucking hot in here. Canada has 2 seasons. Roasting, disgusting heat during the summer, and the coldest fucking places on Earth. It is so horrible. There genuinely is just 2 seasons in Canada. Blistering hot, blistering cold. That's all you get. So if you're, like, coming up here to visit, pick your poison. Extreme cold or extreme hot. Because I know in BC, my folks went out to visit my uncle and aunt. They have a Airbnb out there. And, like, holy shit, the temperatures they were getting in the mountains, like, it was fucking goddamn, like, 40 degrees Celsius. I don't even know what the hell that is Fahrenheit. Let's pop that in. 40 degrees degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. 104. It was fucking hot, right? Like, if you don't agree, you're insane. That is too hot. That is not vacation weather. I know, like, because I know even over here it was like 10 degrees cooler. But, oh my god. It's cold over there? Dude, like, right now, I fucking wish. Because all Liam and I have been talking about recently is, like, holy shit, like, we need to go to the beach and cool off. Just, like, jump in the water. Who gives a fuck about how cold it is? I'm sure we'll probably do that this weekend. We'll get, like, a beach day in and go and cool off. Because it's supposed to be, like, I think it's supposed to be, like, anywhere between, like, 84 and 86 for, like, the next 2 weeks straight. It is not nice weather because it's hot. If it rains even a little bit, it gets humid and hot. So not only is it, like, scalding, but you also can't fucking breathe. It is so uncomfortable, it's not even funny. Man, like, I think, like, probably early to middle of April and anywhere around late September till probably about the middle of October. Those are, like, my favorite times of the year because it's, like, it's warm. It's not cold, you know, like, you get a nice breeze. It's not cold. It's, like, nice out. I can't even. I'm so not built for the outside. Which is funny because, like, all of my heritage was outside, right? Like, it's kind of funny. All my ancestry to be, like, people who lived outside. You know, you're talking about, like, there's a percentage of French fur traders. There's a percentage of like a significantly small percentage of native, but I think it's my great great grandmother was native. So there's like a whole, like, you know, there's a start of, like, a Métis chain there. There's a you know, and, like, that's my mom's side. My dad's side is just, like, he's from formerly known as Czechoslovakia, formerly known as Czech Republic, which is now known as Czechia. He is a Czech guy. He came over here when he was a kid, and then, yeah, so on my dad's side, I'm first generation, like, proper, like, I was born here. And then on my mom's side, it's sort of like, you know, you start French, you taper off a little bit near the end. So, it'll get really hot around the end of July. I want to go outside more, but damn. Yeah. That is the biggest thing with summer and the heat. It's like, go for bike rides, I'd love to. But if it's like 30 and humid outside, I'm not going, right? I'll just, like, go to the gym or something, or use some of the equipment I have at home. But, you know, it's like, you don't want to go for walks and all this muggy shit, you know? It gets to be too much. It's just, you start melting and wanting to hit your head off a wall and all kinds of stuff. Oh, did I lose the music? Nope. Some of these tracks are, like, quiet enough. I just have, like, I don't have any speakers on or anything. I just have, like, my headphones on the desk, because I didn't want it to really, like, distract me. But yeah. It's been pretty warm, especially as of late, so I've got the fan in again. I want to get a floor AC, though. Like, we have central air running through the building, but it's still fucking hot. Even with central air, it's not enough sometimes. Sometimes it's just too hot. Especially when you have, like, a weak-ass blower vent that it's like, well, for it to be working perfectly in your space at all times, you'd have to shut the vents in this part, and this part, and this part. It's like, oh my god. Can anything just work? It is absolutely frustrating. With, yeah, no, nothing works. Speaking of nothing working, I bought a declipper software. It's from this European company. Well, I assume European because they took the euro when I bought the software. And it's like say it's a declipper. So the idea is that when you plug it into your audio files, any of, like, the audio that's really just kind of like just, like, really fucking out of sorts, the idea is that you can run this algorithm and it'll patch the audio and actually pull, like, those clipped frequencies from the audio, and it'll still, like, depending on the quality of the recording, you'll still have a bit of that remaining, but you'll actually at least be able to understand it and not want to, like, rip your ears off immediately. Ingenious thing to have for video production. However, I paid for it, and I haven't received my fucking key. So I've paid this money for this software, and I've had to reach out to their customer service, like, yeah, thanks for the receipt, can I have my fucking registration now? It is so annoying. Like, what do you do? It is absolutely bonkers. Drives me nuts. That's the thing, like, third-party software and, like, from these, you know, you look at it, there's a corporate entity attached to it, so you'd think that when you write to support, you're not going to run into this issue of, like, I don't know what happened, fucking, thanks for the money, loser, you know, like, again, it's a corporate entity, so they can't just ignore it, but at the same time, where's my fucking key? This software is so useful, and I can't use it. And I'm trying to use it for the Best Jake compilation, but honestly, I may have to delay it if I can't get it, because, dude, some of those older videos, oh my god. It was one of those things where, like, any person with half a brain would think, let me turn down everything and then boost it later, right? Because the idea was that the game audio was too loud, so I turned the gain up on the microphone, and then the audio sounded like garbage, right? Like, you just had this, like, "Hey guys, how you guys today? So, it was horrible. So, it's like, how do you fix that? Well, here you go. But I don't have my key, so I can't do that. You know, the idea is to, and again, you know, like, Mr. Jake, it'll probably, I know that this time around I've changed it a little bit. I've sort of done it up so that, the compilation is much more focused on bits that were either said or instigated by Jake, you know, a bit more Jake-centric. So it's been easier to do the editing, because I was trying to sort of... I know in the first two parts, I think, what are they, roughly like 20 minutes long? It doesn't matter. The idea is that they're anywhere between like 20 to 30 minutes long, whatever. I'd have to look. I don't remember this shit. But, you know, it was sort of like, hey, bits that we shared. But that makes for a lot of headache to try and, like, find stuff that sort of, like, keeps it balanced, you know? You don't want it to be, like, just Jake laughing at something I'm saying. But, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Interesting is the word of the day, everybody. If anyone's keeping track, we're probably anywhere at least over 20 now, so if anyone wants to keep track, go ahead. I'm not doing it. Who's keeping score? Not fucking me. This water bottle says it keeps stuff cold for 24 hours. So far it's been, I want to say about 2 or 3 hours since I got this out of the fridge. It's doing okay so far. I don't think it's going to make it 24 hours though, because it's already like much warmer. It was like ice cold when I got it out of the fridge. To be fair, we're going to do this whole thing. To be fair, it's also hot as fuck in here. So, if it doesn't, it is what it is. It'd be nice if it did what it said it was going to do, though. I don't know. Maybe I'm just fussing. You always run into that problem of being like, false advertising, but you don't want to be like, hey, false advertising. You know, the boy who cried wolf, right? It could be way worse. It could be like, this pill makes you live an extra 20 years, and then it fucking kills you tomorrow. Like, that's ridiculous, obviously, but I don't know. Interesting stuff. Ooh, I do have stuff down here. I just realized I actually have access to snacks and stuff. Maybe when I'm on my break, though. We're only 38 minutes in. I think we're probably going to go to about maybe 50 minutes before I take my break. 55 minutes, just before an hour. And then we'll take a short break, run to the bathroom, grab snacks, that kind of thing. I don't want to sit here munching in the mic or, like, run off and then, I don't know, trip and smash my face. I don't know why, but that's always a worry of mine, that I'm gonna, like, obligate myself to do something, and then I'm gonna, like, just fucking die. Like, it's like, how, like, where do those thoughts come from? Like, talk about living a life of anxiety where you're thinking, like, dude, I could fucking slip and die on my way to the bathroom in the next 20 minutes. It's not like I'm actively thinking that, but if I'm obligated to something, I worry about not being able to fulfill that. It's funny, but it's not funny at the same time. Be drinking a lot of water when we get to break time. It'll really be like it just couldn't get there sooner kind of thing. Oh, I have something to bring up a little thing about. I just realized I forgot. I did a couple. I'll wait until I'm back in front of Mike. So I did a couple of retro pickups, and this was kind of annoying. I ran into a scenario where I did these retro pickups, and I realized that my budget's a little tight. So I was like, cool, I want to bring these back. Holy fuck, like, when you have a thing on your receipt that is like 14 days no questions asked return policy, fucking honor it. It is so difficult to support local business when local business does not support consumers, right? Because you go into these places and you're like, yeah, you know, like, I want to support my local shop. You know, I don't want to have to fucking order everything off of Amazon, you know, like Jeff Bezos doesn't, it's not like he's that short of money, you know, like he can still afford his fucking head wax every 3 hours. But, you know, bare minimum, right? Like, if you say you're going to do something, then do it. As a business, it's that, you know, when you talk about like customer obligation, just stick with it. So I picked up Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo. It seems in pretty good shape. I don't know if you could see that. I don't know. I'll wait until this comes up into the preview. It's hard to see. Might focus. Yeah, it's in decent enough shape, but you know, it's one of those, could be better. It's not in the worst condition. It runs. I tested it. And then I've got this sort of yellowing Metroid 2 for the Game Boy. These are, oh, if we can get this a little closer. There you go. You saw it. Good. But yeah, no, I picked those up, and the place that I go to, this hawk shop, it's not cheap, right? These guys charge a premium dollar. They know what they have, and they have no disillusion about the market. However, like any store, they're in the profit of, or sorry, I said that wrong. They're in the business of making a profit. So they charge more than they should, right? So anyone out of, like, I could look online, find this online for, like, I don't know, probably 50, 60 bucks. They charge, like, 90 bucks, right? And then this guy here was 30. Or no, I think this was 100. I think Super... Yeah, no, it was. It was 100. So they because they charged me 130 flat. They just did, like, a top, you know, top billing, knock the taxes off kind of thing. It was the kind of shopping that I do there, you know, like every few months I'll show up and I'll just buy a bunch of stuff. So I thought I had a good rapport with these people. Apparently not so, because, you know, we're not do a refund. Their reasoning for not wanting to do a refund was like, oh, well, we only do guarantees on defective material. I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying to be more frugal with my funds. I made a mistake. Can I give these back to you? And it's like, well, you could have just played them, beat them, and want to send and give them back. And I'm just like, I've been shopping here regularly for 3 years, and you're gonna now decide that that's the kind of customer I am. What gives, right? So, and he's like, oh, well, we can pay you back half for it. It's like, fucking half of $130. Now, to some people, that's not a lot of money, but to me, in today's economy, that's more than a little bit of money, right? So of course I fucking say no. I'm not gonna take half billing. It's like, no, I'll keep these, and if it really comes down to it, I'll start flogging stuff online. Not going to. It's one of those, like, it's not that bad, but I just kind of went like, okay, well, when am I gonna play these? Who knows? I'll just take them back and then, I don't know, pick one up later. But I don't know. All I know is I'm not shopping there again. Like, I sent them a lot of business when I worked at GameStop. I bought a lot of stuff there personally. You know, you know, if you had to give it like a 3-strike thing, I bought a used like new Meta Quest 2 from them. And this thing was like opened out of the box. The guy must have used it like one time. He still had the packaging. Everything was like pristine condition, like white as could be, right? And then you know, get it home, doesn't fucking work. This is a common issue with the Quest 2, is that one of the controllers just doesn't work. So what do? Well, you reach out to, you reach out to Meta and get a replacement. However, it's secondhand, so it's not their problem anymore. Especially since this thing was, like, a little older. Like, it still had the Oculus branding on it, so it had... This guy bought this thing, forgot he had it, and then was like, oh shit, I gotta get rid of this thing. So what do? Get that, like, yeah, okay, well, we'll get it repaired, or we'll get the controller replaced, whatever, we'll get it, and we'll, have that ready for you. They took it, they gave me my money back, they didn't contact me, they didn't hold it, one of the other guys that works there bought it. I'm like, okay, you're an asshole. And then, the second thing was, they had a bunch of N64 stuff come in, and they were supposed to... Their shit doesn't work? Yeah, no, it's wild. Again, we're talking like... It's like the essentials. It's like, fucking controller doesn't work, you can't even start it up. You need both of them to fucking do the initial setup. But yeah, so they were supposed to hold a bunch of... Oh, shit. They were supposed to hold a bunch of N64 stuff for me. They had a bunch of games come in, and they were going to give me a deal on them because I was going to buy just a bunch. I think they were going to dock like $30 or $40 because there was just a stack of N64 stuff. I got there. They didn't have it. They sold it off. One of the other guys who worked there bought the stuff. The guy who said he was going to call me bought a couple of the things. Like, okay, so strike 2, you're an asshole. And then 3 was today when I tried to take those other games back, and they just said, no, we don't do that unless they're broken. So it's like, that's the most ass-backward shit that you can possibly say. Like, what do you mean you only take broken stuff? That's like the opposite of everyone else's return policy. And in a way, it's like, well, if it's broken, yeah, you would hope that they take it. I just put that away, and I'm immediately like, I need it again. But yeah, no, you would, it's like, I don't know. Just think of like how many times you've like run into this scenario where you break something and you go to take it back and they go, nah, we don't do that. Well, I have the 1-year warranty. Well, fuck you, you broke it. With them, apparently, it's not quite that way. They're like, oh, it just doesn't work. I don't know. It's all fucking nuts. It doesn't make any sense. I just know that if I was the owner, because the owner was there, and I gave him fucking eyes, and I was just like, yeah, okay, well, you fucking lost yourself a regular, dickhead. You know, and I just said to my buddies, I'm like, I'm not fucking shopping here anymore, this is what happened, you know, if you want to shop there, it's up to you, but whatever. It was annoying. Live and learn. Just kind of, hope that you can carry on and not foster too much resentment about it. I mean, you don't want to accidentally see these guys in public and want to wring their necks or anything. I mean, that sounds psychopathic, but sometimes when you get screwed over, it's like the first thought. You're like, you piece of shit. You know? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I know I can't be the only one, but maybe in this particular scenario, it's just me. I don't know. Pretty crazy. Meta garbage. Yeah, I'd agree with that sentiment. Like, those... I had the, so it was called the Oculus Quest at the time, so it was the first generation, and I loved it. Like, I put in a lot of time into it, but when Meta took over, their whole thing was like, aha, we're gonna put out the Meta Quest 2, because this is our headset. You know, we bought the brand, so now it's our shit. And immediately, upon release of the second headset, they cut off future releases. So, you can't get new stuff without having the new headset, and you can't like trade in the old headset unless if you got it from like, I don't know, like I think like the guy at Best Buy was like, we'll give you $50 for it. And I was like, no. You know, I ended up selling it third party to some guy for like, I think it was like $200. He was like, oh, you know, the kids want VR. And I told him, hey, it doesn't, you know, do any of the brand new stuff. And he's like, does it do Beat Saber and like Pistol Whip? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, perfect, done. So he wanted something cheaper. So I get it, but doesn't make any of the other shit any less annoying. So, you want good VR? I mean, honestly, PC VR, probably your best bet. To me, it's still insanely baffling that the PSVR 2 costs more than the PlayStation 5. Like, that is the most obnoxious fucking pricing you could possibly have. Like, I can't even, like, understand that. You know, like, a peripheral, an optional accessory costs more than the console. I think they've only sold 200k units. It's like, you wonder why. Like, oh, well, it has this, this, and this. It's like, but it's not a standalone device. It's like, you charge almost, like, so, like, up here, I think it's like $750 or something like that, or like $800. And the PS5s are like, well, like $550 or something. It's insane. You know, like, with tax, you're looking at almost $1,000. It's like, save your money and get the better thing, right? Like, I don't know. It's stupid. It's what your stepdad has collecting dust for 4 years. Like the PSVR for like the first one, like the PS4. Honestly, I did have that one, the PSVR for the PS4. It wasn't bad. I fucking hate Wand VR. And the fact that they didn't even attempt to create a better controller for the PSVR, like they just went, oh, you remember those Move controllers for the PS3? That's what you get. Like, what? Like, you're gonna sit there and like waste this opportunity to come out and do like this insane VR, right? Like, again, I don't know. It couldn't have been like a patent issue, because the controllers for the Quest and the PSVR 2 are like virtually the same. The difference between the two being like the haptic triggers and stuff. Well, actually, I don't even know if the Quest 2 has. I don't think it does. I feel like that's probably something that you'd have to buy. It's meta. You'd have to buy like a Pro controller to have like haptics or some shit. All I know is that I really want to get back into VR, and when I finally do, it's going to be a good one. Like, bare minimum can handle basic shit and not have to, you know, I don't know. Oh, Oculus? Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. The market's becoming increasingly saturated. I know Quest released like a Quest Pro that's like, I think it's like $1,500 or something. And it's like, you know, like triple the price for 40% power increase or something like that. It's a really stupid markup. It's like, you tripled the price for a 40% increase in performance over the Quest 2. Like, that shit should be like 4K ready. For $1,500, like, best mobile chip that you could possibly fit in there for $1,500. I don't understand, like, some of the way these fucking guys work sometimes. And again, like, maybe I'm way off base. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But I sure shit know that as a consumer, it's really annoying when you run into those situations. It's like, oh my god. Pay too much money for, like, generic piece of equipment. Crazy. Now we are... I see that we're at the 55 mark here, so I am gonna run to the loo real quick. I think I still have my old break time thing. Spider-Man gameplay. But I've bought a new PlayStation. I'll address that in a second. I'm gonna quickly run to the bathroom, because as I said, I drank water, and now I'm like, I've gotta pee. So, I'll be back in a second, and then we will continue with this point here. We'll talk about the Spider-Man 2 trailer, because I have a bit to say about that as well. So I'll do that in a second. I'll literally be like 2 minutes or so. Okay. Oh. It was apparently too loud. Okay, I'm back. So anyway, Spider-Man. Let me just open that up again. See, Spider-Man trailer. Honestly, I'm seeing a whole lot of like negative and positive for the game, but I'm kind of firmly on the side of like, I don't know. It's funny, I say firmly on the side of, if there is a side that suggests, even if it's just more of the last, it still would be a worthwhile experience for me. Because I really enjoyed the first one, and like, absolutely, would I pay to play more Spider-Man? Absolutely. Why not? More story, more, more time in that world. They've expanded it to Queens as well. Honestly, I don't know how much the map size is increased. But, yeah, no, it's, I'm excited for it. Black Suit should be interesting. Kraven, I imagine, is probably gonna be, like, mid-game level villain. Kind of like how they did, Mr. Negative in the first game. I imagine that Kraven will probably be there to a point, and then possibly, right? We know Venom's in the game, so my thinking is that you go through, you deal with Kraven, he's locked up, and I would think you have to sort of team up with Kraven to beat Venom. That's a theory of mine. If it's totally off base, then shit. If not, then cool. Either way, I'm interested to play more of that, because I think I played the first one probably about like 12 times. I played it 5 times through on PS4 and the rest on PS5, like the remaster. So I've had time. I've really had a lot of time to like be in that world and sort of know like, okay, this is for me. I like this. It's fun. So. And you didn't play Miles Morales. Honestly, it sort of... Okay, so Miles Morales does a really bang-up job of sort of giving you the game's version of Miles Morales' story. Miles Morales? Man. Jesus. But no. It gives you, like, a good introduction to his character. Gives you it gives you, like, a strong insight into who he is, the way he's gonna play in the sequel, so it's fun. The story's quite short. Most of the content of that game is side content. But, I think I beat Miles Morales in one sitting. And I think it was probably like, I want to say, probably like 4.5 hours. It does not take a long time to beat. It's one of those games that if you can help it, get it on sale. It is fun, and it is good. It's just like, because I do think it was supposed to be DLC for the initial game, and then they were like, okay, it's too big, clearly, to just have it be a, DLC, so we'll sell it for $50 or whatever they sold it for. I don't know. Excited for the new game, especially for Venom. Yeah. I'm interested to see how they set that up. Because again, if we're doing Eddie Brock, that would mean that... See, I don't know. I really don't know. because of what they've set up, like, yeah, interesting. Because I know that when we left off with the last game, MJ was associate editor, I think. She was associate editor for the Daily Bugle by the end of the game. So I feel like Eddie Brock would be more like... It's very much a possibility that he could be intertwined with her story and gets involved through other means. I mean, because at this point, like, Peter hasn't been doing Daily Bugle work for a long time, unless if they set that up during the game. To say, like, he's back doing freelance photography, whatever. I don't know. All I know is that I'm excited for the game. I'm ready for more Spider-Man, but I do understand, like, the concerns, right? So, everyone's concern is that they're paying for more of the same, but honestly, I mean, like, if you're concerned about paying for more of the same, you're in the wrong medium, right? Like, entertainment clearly is just not for you, right? How many Marvel movies have you seen that are, like, cut and paste, like, the same thing every time? How many video games have you played that are cut and paste the same thing every time? How many Battlefields, Call of Duties, like, FIFAs, Maddens, like, how many games do you have to play that are, like, the same thing, like, I don't know. Like, if you're always chasing new experiences, play indie games, like, if you're into AAA and you want to see them innovate, then, pick and choose wisely, because there are developers in the industry that innovate more than others, right? I don't know. That's all I gotta say on that, really. But, yeah. Certainly intrigued. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. That was the one that had me kind of... That was a conversation starter and ender on more than one occasion when that came up. I've played through Snake Eater twice. So I played it on the PS2, and then I played it on the 3DS. And I'm definitely excited to see a newer interpretation of that. The thing that has me stumped a little bit is that it said it's a faithful remake. So that means that the game will more than likely be quality of life improvements. I also think that we could get a drastically different version of that, right? Because just because something says it's a faithful remake doesn't mean that they can't take chances on newer things to do with that game. My thinking would be, like, if they took the gameplay from, like, Metal Gear Solid 5 and had the game sort of, like, like, if you progressed through missions in this remake in any way you wanted, but the game was still linear and told a good story, I feel like that would probably be the way to go. Because we've seen Metal Gear Solid evolve over the years, and this will be, it's the second Metal Gear that they've done since Kojima left. And everyone's like, oh, well, Metal Gear Survive was garbage. It's like, okay, well, if they play it safe, and it's literally just prettier Metal Gear Solid 3, you're playing the same experience anyway. Even if it's not, at the end of the day, you guys, like, I've been saying this to everybody I've talked to about it. Hideo Kojima, although he is, like, this madman and recognized for all these crazy innovations in storytelling and video games and all these things, like, you have to remember, he was one man amongst several hundred that worked on these games. So at the end of the day, you just have to wait and see. Like, if the game comes out and it's garbage, then it is what it is, right? Like, If it comes out and it's garbage, it's garbage. If it comes out and it's good, don't hate on it just because Kojima's not there to, you know, have his name up on it, right? There's so many other people involved. It really, truthfully, does not, like, it doesn't matter. He could be there or not, and the success of the game is not hinging entirely on one person, right? So, just something to bear in mind. Obviously, some people could hear that argument and be really annoyed and upset. I don't care. Honestly, it's, you know, my stance is that, you know, if you want to play it, don't feel guilty for it. You know, like, if you're even remotely interested in checking it out, go for it. You know, like, don't let people tell you what you can and can't play, like, game-wise. It's the dumbest shit ever. Unless, of course, if it's banned in your country. I'm not saying to go and, like, illegally obtain stuff. But, yeah, I don't know. That's all I've got to say on that. I'm intrigued. I hope it does, come out well. I hope it, you know, I hope it allows people to sort of accept this new generation Metal Gear into their lives and sort of, like, recognize, you know, what happened between Kojima and Konami was not great. But at the end of the day, like, there's so many opportunities that, you know, sorry, there's only so many opportunities that people get to, like, prove their worth. Let this new generation team handle the game, and you just see where it goes. If it's shit, it's shit, you know. Not saying you can't shit on it. I'm just saying, just, if you're curious, let it be what it is. And that works both ways. If it's shit, let it be shit. If it's not, then don't beat yourself up over enjoying it or not. Now, the music's still going, eh? Okay. Yeah. Where are we at now? Hour 12. Hour 13 on the timer on Twitch. Yeah, as for future streams, I kind of want to put out there that my intention is to do more. I don't want to promise what. It might be more of something like this. It might be more of something different. I'm just trying to think of, like, if I can sort of, like, paint a picture of what things are gonna look like going forward. It would be that I'm gonna try a lot of stuff. If something sticks, cool. If it doesn't, don't be too upset about it. I'm trying to figure stuff out. I'm at 41 followers now. So, I mean, what is it? You know, okay, so it's the 1st of June as of 20 minutes ago. For me, anyway. Basically, I'm gonna throw stuff at the wall. If it sticks, awesome. If it doesn't, tough shit, I'm moving on. And again, that's not even to say just for, like, that's not even to say, like, oh, I need to do what gets me follows. It's literally, I need to find what is engaging as this, right? Because honestly, my Hangout streams have been probably the most active streams that I've done as far as, like, me talking consistently. So if it's just me coming in and chatting about stuff and, you know, giving myself some highlights to use or not, you know, it is what it is, then cool. If it ends up being mixed in with some game stuff, cool. If it leans more heavily towards one or the other temporarily or not, I don't know. It's hard to paint an image when I don't have a clear image of what it looks like in my head yet. All I know is that I want to do more. I want to make it better. I want to, you know, I want to experiment a lot with this channel. So, you know, hopefully we can make things go in a interesting direction. I don't want to make any like concrete promises of anything, because I know in the past every time I could be like, oh, I'm gonna stream again tomorrow, and then just be like, I fucking want to smash my head off a wall. So I'm not gonna promise a stream. Honestly, I think tomorrow night, because midnight, it's the 2nd. Yeah, June 2nd is the early access launch for Diablo 4, so I imagine I'll probably be playing that. Whether I stream or not is purely down to whatever's going on, right? I don't want to lock anyone into that. I know that I've got a couple of friends who are jumping in on the early access, so my time might be consumed with that. If I get a chance to be alone, then cool. I don't want to say, hey guys, I'm streaming this, so. But yeah. As far as game stuff goes, I honestly don't have any ideas. At this point, I just kind of, like, stick with what works. And with, like, what works for me is playing stuff that doesn't make me want to fucking smash my head. Because, you know, like, when I'm playing stuff like, if I play COD, I get frustrated and I only play for, like, 40 minutes to an hour. If I play a game that I find boring in general, I do the same thing. I get frustrated, I get bored, I shut it off. So I, you know, like, I want to, like, that Tears of the Kingdom stream I did, like, back when it came out, it was like 3 or some odd hours long. I don't know, it was like one of the longer streams that I've ever done, and I was having a blast. I loved it. But that doesn't mean every new thing that comes out is gonna be the same way, right? Like, I might play something that I played 1 billion times and get some enjoyment out of that. I might play something retro that I haven't played in a long time and get some enjoyment out of that. I don't know. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, like I said, we're gonna throw shit at the wall. If it sticks, it sticks. Yeah. That's what that looks like. I just had to think of something to say. So, I talked about it a little bit near the start of the stream, but I didn't really, I don't know if I got into it or not, but I don't know. Doesn't matter. I said it. I knew that was going down the wrong pipe. Fuck. Fuck. Oh, I felt that sliding down the wrong way. And I'm like, don't panic. Because the worst thing you could do is panic and gasp. And make it worse. Fuck. Okay. That's annoying. You're playing COD now. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, my tolerance level for COD is just, like, becoming less and less, and I think it's just, like, they keep changing the game, so every time they do something good, they do 3 things that make it worse. And it's specifically Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer that do that. It's fucking annoying. The chat delay is crazy. I'm trying to catch it when it comes up on the, like on Twitch, and not when it comes up on the purple window. It shows up when it shows up on the stream. I'm not gonna try and, like, figure out a way to get, like, a lower latency on the chat. It's a pain in the fucking arse. So I'm not gonna do it. Josh's favorite franchise? Far from it. Dude, Call of Duty is that one friend that you get together with every weekend because he makes you laugh a little bit, and then after you've had enough time hanging out with him, you're like, okay, I've had enough. I'm done. You know, like, It's not, you know, it sounds like a good idea for a short period of time, and then when you spend some time with it, you get pissed off, and you're like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna put this down for a couple days or whatever. I don't know. That's how I feel about COD. It's a very complex, yet not complex issue. I always enjoy Treyarch's games way more. Like Black Ops, to me, I can play for hours on end without getting, like, frustrated, because I feel like when I play Black Ops, my skill level is sort of, like, rewarded, whereas when I play the other CODs, it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's like, okay, it's an endurance test, like, how long can I put up with this shit before I want to die, you know? No, my... I always struggle to figure out what my favorite franchise is. In my mind, like, the one that comes up most consistently, I mean, like, hell, my webcam frame for my gameplay stuff is, like, Zelda text, so... I think, like, Zelda probably comes up to me as, like, the most consistently, like, something that I could be like, what's your favorite franchise? Zelda, right? Sometimes I've said it was, like, the Pokemon franchise, but that's more, like, back in the day. You know, I've been having a lot of fun with Scarlet and Violet, but, you know, at the same time, it's hard to recapture the charm of that, especially when, you know... Yeah, I don't know. You try to, like, recapture the charm of, like, again, what is a game, an RPG that is designed for children. Like, it's an entry-level RPG, right? So you try to you try to find similar experiences, and for me, the Shin Megami Tensei and Persona franchises have been, like, the easiest thing to sort of, like, okay, I mean, if you like Pokemon and you want something that's more, like, mature, right? Play Persona or Shin Megami Tensei. You know, like, I don't know. I'm in the most literal sense, obviously, because we're talking about, like, the rock, paper, scissors factor of, like, this type beats that type beats that type beats that type, whatever. So, that's sort of where I stand on that. Honestly, shooter franchise, I don't know. Like, what stands out? It's because you can't even say Halo safely these days, right? That's another one that's like, back in the day it was good. Nowadays it's like kind of up to interpretation. You either like what's happening to it or you don't. Well, I'd say most people don't, because it's shrinking in size constantly, but, you know, what do you do? Well, just out here trying to enjoy good games, and then we don't get good games, and what do you do except get pissed off about it? So you can either get pissed off and find something else to play, or you can give up and stop gaming. And who wants to do that? Because that's lame as shit. I know, yeah, I don't know. Well, like, when I'm thinking of, like, something, I don't know, because I get this question a lot, and it comes from so many people, like, what I'm playing recently, and my answer is often a resounding whatever the latest thing is, or, you know, or it's something that I've played a million times over the last few years. It's funny. No, like, the other day, or, well, I say the other day, for the past couple days, over the last couple weeks, I'd been playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 again, like the 2017 one that EA and DICE put out, and I was having a load of fun on that. My buddy was like, holy shit, you know, I gotta get in on this, and then he saw it was like, I don't know, it was like $50 Canadian or something, so it was like, no, fucking, I'm like, wait for a sale, it'll be like $8 or something, you know, Then I think after that we played Ultimate Chicken Horse, I think. And I don't know, it was Pico Park, then we played Ultimate Chicken Horse. Fucking hell. Still a bit of water in there. Pico Park was, he and I will often, like, when we're hanging out, we'll play, like, co-op platformers, so, like, Mario or anything of the sort. So that's where Pico Park came in. That was the first time I played it. It was alright. I wouldn't make an effort to play it constantly. You know, it's one of those kind of like you've played it, you're done with it kind of things. At least for me. Ultimate Chicken Horse, great fun to play with friends. I think we played, so it was like super late in the night, but we played it for like an hour. He had a Steam Deck, and he was playing it, and we were, well, I was playing it on my PC, and he was playing it on his Steam Deck. They still updating Battlefront? Oh, no. Hell no. Stopped doing that years ago. Which sucks, because, you know, it's like, I think they talked about Battlefront 3, and then it was like, well, your contract's expiring. And also, what do you make a Battlefront 3 out of? And it's like, are we just gonna never get Battlefront 3? We're gonna keep running into this scenario where we have, like, Battlefront 1 and 2, and then they'll reboot it again and do Battlefront 1 and 2? Like, fucking make a third game. You know? And just make it the best shit ever. You know? Because Battlefront 2, after all of the stuff was fixed, was an amazing game. Still is an amazing game, right? I could still get tons of enjoyment out of playing that. So it's frustrating when, you know, it's like, that's a franchise that deserves updates that just doesn't get them, right? That first one was kind of right? It was super arcadey, you know, like pick up cards to do anything. And then, you know, the second one was like, no, okay, like, this is where it's at, right? This is the experience that we know. And it was super, you know, like, pay to win initially. And then when they stripped all those features out of it, it was like, okay, yeah, there actually is, like, a really fun game underneath all this. You know, I don't know. I know that the original Battlefront 3 that was in development, like, years ago, I think there was, like, a thing that came out and said it was, like, it was done. Like, the game was, like, finished, and they canceled it. It's like, really? For fuck's sake. Like, you just can't... Consumers can't win in any scenario, because it's all about contracts. It doesn't matter what you want, what anybody else wants, how much money's involved. At the end of the day, if the guy with the power isn't getting as much money as they want from it, then you're not getting it. So, you know, it's like, you're just like, screw you, I guess. But yeah. It's, yeah, I don't know. Getting to a point, it's like an hour and a half. We've talked about a lot of stuff tonight. Can't even think of what else to talk about. Think, yeah, we're running out of music. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, before it starts tapering off into nothing, I might take this opportunity to pack it in, because I don't want to run into a scenario where I'm just sitting here and looking at the screen, or just looking at my desk and not knowing what to talk about. So, yeah, I guess we'll call it here. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching this in post, hello. Again, I don't want to promise when I'm going to stream next. I just know that I'm going to stream again relatively, hopefully, sooner than the gap between this one and the last one. So, yeah. If you're here and you're new, and you've been lurking and you liked what you've been seeing, consider following. If you didn't, that's cool too. Yeah. I had a whole thing going on in my head, and it just fucking crashed and burned. Anyway, guys, take care. Have a good night. I will see you again on the next one. Take take care.